What's up, everybody? My name is Shannon and I am still waiting for my Satyr, and today I'm gonna tell you everything you need to know about Lost Stars by Claudia Gray. So just a heads up, this video is going to have lots and lots of spoilers in it, so if you want to avoid those, I do have a spoiler-free review that you can watch up here, wherever it's gonna appear. So Lost Stars is definitely, hands down, my favorite Star Wars book. I would say Dark Disciple is definitely a very close second, so is the Revenge of the Sith novelization, but Lost Stars is absolutely amazing. And the biggest thing you need to take away from this book is that it is definitely a YA novel. That makes it very different from a lot of your other Star Wars books, because normally they're very like plot driven, there's a lot going on, there's a lot of characters that you already know. In this book, that is definitely not the case, because you don't know Ciena, you don't know Thane, and it's entirely focused on their relationship. It's completely character driven, and it's hyper focused in on this romantic relationship that unfolds throughout the story. Ciena and Thane grow up together. You see them fall in love, and you see them grow to be on opposite sides of this war, and it just stabs you in the heart the farther and farther you get in this book, because Ciena and Thane truly understand each other more than they understand anybody else in the entire galaxy, and what comes to be their downfall is their communication. Like, they start to get separated, they're not quite thinking on the same page anymore, their ideals are kind of shifting. And then when they discover that Thane has found himself in the rebellion while Ciena is still firmly within the Empire, they don't know what to do anymore. They're on opposite sides of this war, and they are trying to withhold like what they think is right and their sense of duty, and yet they have this love for each other, and somehow that is still like keeping them going. This book is truly heartbreaking, and is truly a testament to the star-crossed lover stories that we see time and time again in Star Wars, because the further it goes on and the deeper these characters get into these sides, you really start to see Ciena falling out of love with the Empire, seeing how her sense of loyalty and duty has been twisted by their methods and like what they think they're doing and the way that they're trying to like preserve and like push through strength in the Empire. And then you're seeing Thane, who fell out of love with it very early, but is still not 100% on board with the rebels. He still thinks that they're terrorists. He still thinks that they don't quite know what they're doing. Do they know how they're going to replace the Empire? Are they going to be better with the Empire? He's asking all of these questions, and it's awesome to see. That was one of the main things that I loved when I read this book for the first time, was that somebody was finally asking these questions about the good guys, and we were finally starting to see the Empire be humanized a little bit. Because when the Death Star blows up, you had friends on the Death Star. You had characters that you'd gone through like a big chunk of this book with who die on the Death Star, and you feel it. And you feel it when Alderaan blows up, and you're so conflicted right along with Ciena and Thane. But what's truly amazing is the end of this book. We follow these two characters from when they were very young all the way up to the Battle of Jakku, which takes place a year after the second Death Star blows up and the war is over. And you see that just because the Emperor died, just because they blew up the second Death Star, did not mean that everything was gonna suddenly be sunshine and rainbows. Like, this war is still going on, they're still wrapping up this war, and this is the final battle of that. And what happens is Ciena's ship gets boarded. Ciena was a captain of one of the Star Destroyers, and when her ship gets boarded and she knows that she like can't let this ship fall into enemy hands, she does the only thing that she can, and she decides to suicide this ship into the planet. She gets her entire crew off, she's going to stay on it and drive this ship down into the planet and go down with it. And this was hinted at very early on in the book in like one of their training day like exercises. This was a theory that Ciena like knew about. She knew that this was a thing that could technically happen, but we never expect to actually see it. But what's amazing is that you see how much Ciena has changed from when she first talks about this battle strategy to when she's actually doing it, because she has fallen so out of love with the Empire. She has become so conflicted and so torn apart because of her love of Thane that she just wants to die. She just wants it to be over. She wants to be free of this pain, and so she's actually happy that she can pull this maneuver off and go down with her ship. But what she doesn't know is that Thane is the one who boarded her ship. He was with the rebels that boarded her ship, and he knows that she's on there, and he's not going to let her die. The battle between her and Thane, when he's like trying to get her off the ship as well, when they know that it's like too late for the ship but they could still get out alive, is absolutely breathtaking. And by the end of this book, like, they both get off that ship, but unfortunately, Ciena was a high-ranking officer within the Empire, which has now lost this war. She's now a war criminal and in prison. So, like, her and Thane are still in love and they still want to be together, and they still can't be. This war has completely come between them in every way but how they feel about each other, and it's so heartbreaking and it's so tragic, and I absolutely love seeing that complexity and seeing that complexity in a franchise like Star Wars, because Star Wars at its core is about hope, it's about happy endings, and that's what you still get in Lost Stars, because at the end of it, it is still hopeful, it is still a happy ending, because Ciena and Thane could still be together, and yet it is so tragic, and you feel the weight of this war, you feel the weight of all of the lives that have been lost. And honestly, like, Claudia Gray outdoes herself in this book. It's my favorite Star Wars book for a reason. And obviously I just spoiled the heck out of this book for you, but I still highly recommend it because it gives me all the feels. I listened to it again recently and they play across the stars, like in every Ciena and Thane scene, and it's just like, oh, it pulls at your heartstrings. It's just absolutely phenomenal. Cannot recommend it enough. If you don't want to read it, then you already know everything you gotta know, but hey, I still highly recommend you give it a shot. But please, let me know all of your thoughts down in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, be sure to hit that like button down below, and don't forget to subscribe so you can talk books with me every week. That is everything got for today, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!